Welcome to the I Have a Problem podcast. I'm not 100% sure what number episode this is, but we're back. We're here. I'm here to give you that truth, here to talk about sneakers with you guys. Once again, on another week. It's your boy Mike Sykes at Mike D Sykes on Twitter. I'm here with my guy Adrian at Adrizzle on Twitter. Adidas guy, right?
Yep.
Loves Adidas.
Big Adidas guy.
Shout out to Adidas in their whole come up, man. But today we're going to talk to you guys about kind of global sneaker culture and culture, particularly in Australia. Because if you just heard Adrian talk, you can tell that he has an Aussie accent, right?
Yeah, big Aussie accent. So I apologize if anyone can't understand what I'm saying. I haven't perfected my.
They're going to understand you. They're going to understand you today.
I'll speak as slow as possible. But no, we should be good. We should be good.
No, we're going to be great, man. We're going to be great. Look, thank you so much for hopping on with me today. I truly appreciate it. We just had like this well, it wasn't even really a discussion. It was really more like Adrian teaching me about sneaker culture in Australia before I started up the pod. So I'm really hyped to get you guys this education, man. I'm hyped to, like I said, man, we're here to educate the people, and Adrian is going to help me do that today while also educating me. So
so thanks for having me on, I guess. It's going to be a lot of fun, hopefully. So yeah, we should be good. Thank you again.
Most definitely. So to start, man, do you have like a go-to sneaker or a favorite sneaker at this point?
I guess like my my everyday shoe that I'm wearing is just the Ultra Boost. I'm a massive Ultra Boost fan, and I guess that comes with the Adidas bias. As a 4.5 year employee of the company, I've seen the growth. But yeah, the Ultra Boost is easily like the most comfortable shoe that I've worn, and doing a fair bit of traveling, that's always my go-to. But if I'm trying to like go out, hold it down, I brought the Jordan 12s in the wool last year, and I just love wearing them out casually. So they're pretty sweet. But yeah, like I love wearing some Air Force Ones as well. But it just depends on my mood and the colors that I'm rocking to. I try to,
you try to switch it up,
match my color. Yeah. So if I'm just going my everyday fit, it's one of the colors of the Ultra Boost, and if I'm going out a bit more casually, then we'll switch it up from there.
Right. Now, let me ask you. You said you bought the wool 12s last year. Like I know there are some people who have some people feel like that's like a purely hype shoe, right? Like people are so obsessed with like OG Jordan colorways, like the just the breds and the white and red and red and black and stuff like that. Do you have like a limit when it comes to shoes like that, to Jordans, where like you have like these OG classics, right? But then like they get remixed all the time, like, because like for me, like I am totally through with like these multicolor low 11s. Like I'm done with that. I'm done with that. But like I like the wool 12 stuff, So
I guess for me, growing up in Australia, the price of Jordans is just astronomical. Like you're looking at spending like $280 plus.
Holy shit.
And most of them will be around 300. Like obviously, like with the dollar conversion, it works out a little bit different to US dollars. But you got to remember, like we're paying like the shipping fees into the country, and they're not like the shoes like our Foot Lockers, or like specialized stores that will stock them. They're paying a pretty penny to get these limited release in, so they do jack up the prices a bit. So like I didn't get my first pair of J's till I was like 16, and that was like a huge deal for me. So like I think I'm still at the point where I'm splurging a little bit on some colorways that may be like a bit older to people, but it's like I'm late to the party, so I need to enjoy myself. But yeah, I guess like it's definitely, I can see how a lot of people get tired of some of like the remix colors. Like I'm a really big fan of the 4s, but I wouldn't be buying anything that's coming out now. I feel like, it's just kind of repeatedly the same thing. So yeah.
Most definitely. Like we're 100% together on that. Like we're eye to eye there. Like I don't know. There's some that I can tolerate, some that I can't. But you said
I guess, like,
go ahead.
Sorry, I guess like if it's a model that I've had a lot of like bad luck trying to cop in the past, I might like settle for a color that I don't love. Like when I was trying so hard to get the Gamma Blues in the 11, and I didn't, I got L's on that. So, maybe if I see something similar, I might still jump on it. But yeah, it just depends on, I guess, like previous history. Like if I've already got a model, then I'm not going to buy another one. Very rarely, just because of the price point that we have to pay.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you there. Like I don't have a like I don't take a lot of chances when it comes to buying shoes, right? Like if I can't find the exact pair that I want, like I won't settle for for like a similar looking pair. Like the worst thing I do is like go to like Nike ID or like me Adidas and try to create like a similar one, but like you can't do that with Jordan, so
no way.
It doesn't work out there. But yeah, so you said you bought your first pair of J's at 16. Do you remember what they were?
Yeah, they're the military blue 4s.
Nice. Yeah. That's fire.
So I was massively excited. Like the parents helped me pay for those ones, so that was a pretty big deal. Like getting that $1 from Kmart and then getting those first J's was a good moment for me.
That's funny. That's funny. No, that makes sense because I think I got my first pair around that same age. Honestly, how old? I might have been like 15. I don't remember like the exact year that the Aqua 8s came out, but like that was like my first Jumpman pair of Jordans. Like before that, I had like the there were like a bunch of like 0.5 numbers and Team Jordans that I was getting. And they were cool or whatever. And like
there's some nice ones out there, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I'm not gonna hate on them. I'm definitely not gonna hate on them. But yeah, like the Aqua 8s were my first OG pair.
It's a nice one to start with.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely. I bought it again 2 years ago. Yeah. So, but no. So how does like you said, J's are a bit more expensive in Australia than they are here. Like, how does that whole like do you? So I take it that you guys don't have like people camping out at stores in storefronts waiting for releases.
Some very limited ones there will be, but like for any kind of limited, so if it's a hype release in the States, you're still going to get a hype release back here in Australia, but you won't get the massive campouts. But you'll be pretty lucky that if they'd still be there by the end of the day. So like for example, I mentioned like missing out online on the Gamma Blues. I was working the day that they dropped, and I like called the Foot Locker at the end of the day to see if they had any left, and they were all gone. So like a lot of them, a lot of the big releases and real limited releases still will sell out, but you'll still see that a lot will sit on shelves. But I mean, we don't get a huge amount of numbers in our stores, so that definitely has a play on it as well.
Mm-hmm. So because they're limited, like what do people wear in Australia? Like, is there like a what would you say is like the go-to like pop and sneaker in Australia right now?
I reckon like the biggest ones like Converse are huge.
Really, like Vans are pretty big. The All Stars,
like your All Stars, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Your Vans are really big. And then like a lot of like, especially with the guys, old school as well, especially like a lot of Nike SBs.
Mm-hmm.
As in the skateboard ones, they were always really popular. But now, like these days, the NMDs are massive, the Ultra Boosts are massive, and the resale market on Yeezys in Australia is incredible. Like I know from working in store that we only had raffles on them, so you could never just walk into store and buy them. You had to like win the raffle,
of course.
And yeah, people are selling them at $1,500 a clip, and it's like it's not even. You're not struggling to sell them. Like if you run into a pair of Yeezys and you just want to get them to flip them off for another price, like you're doing that 100%, no issues. But like Another real big one at the moment, I guess, is like the Prestos. The Nike Prestos are really big. And like the Roche runs and like ZX Fluxes, a lot of those like lower models have definitely like having their run, as well as like superstars. Those kind of classics will always be in, you know, the Stan Smiths and stuff like that. So it's more like a kind of casual lifestyle shoe rather than a sneaker that is you'll see more on the streets.
Right. So that's kind of similar to what's happening here now, right? In the States, like there's a shift from performance basketball sneakers to a more casual kind of runner lifestyle sneaker, right? Like, so was that a recent shift in Australia too, or has it always kind of just been that way where you guys will go with like just classics and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's kind of always been that way. At least like since I've been growing up. Like I'm only kind of talking off my experiences. Like there's definitely going to be people that, you know, live different experiences, but from like the broad sense of like a Melbourne, Sydney, the two bigger Australian cities, like that's kind of the way it looks. But I guess you'll probably see it in the States a little bit more just due to the fact that Adidas is, you know, blowing up there at the moment. Because like most of the Adidas original lines, they are a casual lifestyle shoe. So I think with them, you know, growing in popularity, a lot more people are starting to wear them out on the streets. So, and I think like with like the signature shoes models that we're seeing now, a lot of them are looking a lot more performance based rather than like casual based. So you can see how maybe some people are dropping off on purchasing them to wear casually and starting to go with, you know, a bit more of a lifestyle kind of performance, you know, runner.
Sure. So out here in the DMV, like a lot of people wear like foam posits, right? Like the Penny Hardaway shoe. So like that's not something that we would have seen in Australia, say like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
No, you'll find a lot of foams like in our Nike outlets. So I feel like this will still stock them. But yeah, like if you go into a Nike outlet, you'll definitely be able to pick up yourself a pair of foams.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
So I mean, they're still like decently priced in there. It's not like they're under clearance at $50 and they're still just waiting around. But
I was about to say, let me get on this plane right now.
Yeah, I'll ship you up some. But they are definitely like still at a reduced price, kind of just waiting around. But I mean, pennies, like you can still buy them. Like I've got myself a pair of pennies, the Penny 5s in the Phoenix colorway, and I love them. Yeah, the foams, like, man, if I've said to you that I've been out in the city, like going around and seen more than maybe like 3 people in foams, I'd be lying to you.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like honestly, it might only be a DC thing here.
Yeah.
Also. Like I know they wear them in like Chicago too, in Atlanta, but like I don't think it's like it's really kind of a cult thing. But like I'm in general, like I mean, like, so you guys wouldn't wear like just a general basketball performance shoe just out, right? Like that's not something that we would have seen. Cause like, I don't know. I feel like fashion over here, like the trend has shifted to kind of what it has been over there in Australia and Europe for the last few years. Like, do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, like I think as I said to you earlier, like growing up, if you wanted to wear sneakers or basketball shoes with jeans or something like that, that was almost social suicide. Like, you wanted to be able to. People wanted to be able to differentiate between, all right, these are your ball shoes, these are your shoes that you're going to go running in, and these are like, all right, now I'm going out to hit the town shoes. Like, if you're wearing both, it was almost like, all right, this person can't afford to like have multiple pairs, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Broke boy, broke boy.
Yeah, and it was like, and I guess for us back home, a lot of the shoes that people were wearing are all quite thin, like the Vans and Converse and stuff. So if you're coming out with like basketball shoes that tend to be a lot more chunkier, people notice that. And it was like, I guess like in Australia, like we never had the huge, flared big jeans kind of fashion trend. So they weren't hidden as well. Like we've tended tend to wear like skinny leg products and stuff like that for a long time. So, and I guess that's pretty European based in that. So I guess like how you said that's performance running is starting to hit the States. Like that's definitely been in Australia a lot longer. But then I think we're shifting closer to you guys where now that's not as big a deal. Like now I can, if I want to go out and wear J's, I don't have to worry about what other people are saying anymore. Whereas like a few years ago, I wanted to do that, but it was something that I would like,
you got roasted.
Be really particular about where I was going to do it. And like still a lot of like clubs and stuff like that, they're not going to let you in if you're in basketball shoes. So yeah, I mean it's a huge difference. But like especially like with Air Maxes, that's the number one shoe in Australia that is probably completely different to how you're used to it in the States. Like so Air Maxes are typically referred to as like fence jumpers in Australia.
Why is
basically that? What that means is like a criminal, like someone who's jumping fences, like stealing stuff. So it was like typically seen as a junkie's shoe. So
that's
like
crazy.
People who are fresh out of jail, like that's their go-to look. And like we've got this old school shopping area back in Melbourne, in a suburb called Collingwood, and they had like all these outlets back there. A lot of them have closed now because like kind of ran out of money, but Adidas used to be there, Nike was there, all your big brands like New Balance, Reebok, all that, all had stores on this strip. And yeah, if you went into the Nike store there, probably 90% of the clientele were criminals looking for Air Maxes. Like
that's so crazy.
So yeah, like if you're on the streets, like, and someone's wearing Air Maxes, it's like, oh, that guy's a junkie, or that guy's probably a criminal. Like, and it wasn't until recently, like, I just copped my first pair of 97s. I brought into the hype. I got the silver bullets, and that was like the first time.
It's an amazing shoe.
That I brought, yeah, and it was like the first time I brought Air Maxes. I remember sending it to like some of my friends, and they're like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, are you serious right now?" Yeah, and I was like, nah, man, trust me, like, read up on the shoe if you have to. Like, it's time you educate yourself. Like, the Air Maxes have a huge history, but like, yeah, just completely different in Australia. And that's probably like something that I guess like it wasn't until I started, I guess, like reading and learning about sneakers and like the history behind it that I realized that how big my shell in Australia was, like how different the culture was elsewhere to what I was used to experiencing. So yeah, that's like,
that tells me I need
funny. And I guess that's changing now.
I still need to book this plane then, so I can get some Maxes.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna have to, but then like don't wear them out in the streets.
Anyway, yeah, I won't. They'll stay in the box. So, but that kind of goes to show like how the globalization of fashion has kind of exploded, right? Like. Because I mean, would you have learned about Max's and Air Max history without like having the internet and social media?
Oh, no way. Like just I guess like I'm a massive Twitter user, and that's what I've learned and like grown a lot as like my knowledge in sports and sneakers and just like pop culture and all that. But like without like for example, I was when we decided to get this podcast going. I was like, oh, I might see if I can like find some other information and like some interesting stuff that I could bring up in the podcast. So I did some searches, like, and just like Australia-based like sneaker culture articles or stuff that I might be able to reference and stuff. Man, there is nothing. There's not like one article. Like the only link I was finding was like that we had like an art gallery of like the history of sneakers that like went around the country. That was all.
That's incredible.
Like I couldn't find anything. So it's like I'm probably in my own shell, but there's no one else to counter what I'm saying, like in the open market. So yeah, like without the internet, absolutely, like I wasn't going to be learning this stuff on my own. So yeah, and I guess it's fascinating. Like once I started growing in my addiction with shoes, I guess it was almost a thrill for me knowing that what I was like collecting or what I was like interested in was so different to what I was used to seeing people in. And like, don't get me wrong, there are J heads and there are sneaker heads in Australia, man. They're everywhere.
Right.
But like the consensus of people is definitely a minority, like a huge minority. So yeah, and I mean it's always cool like when I'm back home in Melbourne, and if I happen to meet another sneakerhead, or especially like a baller who like loves talking about signature shoes and stuff like that. I mean it's rare, but when you find them, it's always a bit of a rush for me. So that's pretty cool.
It's great.
Especially going down to the local gym and like seeing what everyone's hooping in. That's always like a favorite.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how many pairs of shoes do you own at this point? Like, how many would you say?
At this point, like I'm probably like going at like 50, 60.
Sheesh.
But like, man, a lot of them, like a fair few of them, I've gotten for free from work, or like with like big discounts and stuff. Yeah, that are like, I don't love them, but it's like, they're pretty sweet. I could rock them with a couple outfits, and I grab them. So they're not all like ball shoes. A lot of them like just your sneaker casual. Like I've got like 6 or 7 Ultra Boosts and stuff like that. So a few of them I'm going to start selling because I think I want to start closing my collection a little bit, narrow it down, and then start putting some of that money onto a bit more higher end J's or SIG shoes that I like coming out. So we'll see.
Do you like anything coming out?
That's a tough question, man. That's a tough question.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know what I would buy. Like I think I would buy the Dame 4 at this point. Like for things that are like just coming out, but like maybe the Curry 4, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you can. I don't know if I'm able to.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to buy Under Armour. Like, when obviously I'm a massive Nuggets fan, and when Moutier was drafted by the Nuggets, he immediately got a player exclusive, and I was like, oh, Moutier is going to be like the face of the franchise. He's going to get a real sweet signature shoe that's going to be buying him like straight away. And obviously that never panned out, which is a shame. But yeah, I don't know if I can see myself wearing Under Armour just yet. But I guess like coming out, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what the new Hardens look like. We've seen a couple photos drop, and I'm hoping that's not what they actually do look like.
They're so bad.
If that's them, then that's a shame. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm always a big fan of the KDs, so I'll be interested to see what the new model of them look like. Yeah, like in terms of like purely balling in them, like that's probably one of my favorite like ranges of shoes. Like I had the KD ones, I had the KD 4s. My most recent, I brought the KD 8s. So I'm a bit of a.
Did you get the 9s and 10s?
Fanboy. No, I didn't get the 9s and 10s. Mainly because he switched over to the Warriors, and I don't know if I can do that to myself yet.
Can't support that. No, the 9s are like, I hate them. I don't hate the shoe. Like I like the shoe, but they're like super uncomfortable though. Like there's just like this huge art in the shoe, in the outsole, and I just can't. Like it's so bad and it hurts. Like I've worn them like 4 times, and that's it.
That was a bit of my thing with the John Walls, like the 2s. I really liked a couple of the colorways in them, and every time I tried them on, I was just like, look, I'm not going to be able to wear these casually, and I just don't think I'll be able to ball in them, so I just never ended up buying them.
I didn't either. I bought the 1, and that was it. Like because I mean I like the way that the 2s look, but like I don't know when everything was happening with John Wall with his deal with Adidas, and like
he started wearing Nikes.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not gonna buy this. Yeah. I'm not gonna buy this. Like there's no point in me buying this because there's not gonna be a 3. So
yeah. Which is a shame because like the explosives, like if that was supposed to be his range.
Yeah, it's a hit now.
That would have been dope. There is some like real sweet colorways. Like that gray yellow is low key one of my favorite colorways in like just a line and an Adidas line that I've seen for a long time.
But
like we'll see what the Kyrie's come out with and the Paul Georges. Like I didn't mind the PGs. I didn't buy a pair, but there's enough cool names on the market that you hope they bring something out. But we'll just wait, I guess. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the new LeBrons, as I said to you, so I'm not going to be jumping on them anytime soon.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because I I'm not a huge fan of it, but like I don't mind it. Like it's not terrible, right? Like compared to everything else LeBron has dropped over like the last 3 years, like it's not terrible. It's probably the best one in like the last 3 years since he's been to Cleveland.
I don't know. I like the Soldiers.
Okay, if we're counting Soldiers, okay, like then it's the third best at worst. If we're counting Soldiers, but I wasn't really counting the Soldiers though.
I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's fine because you're right. Like that's accurate. That's accurate. Like the Soldiers that's a really good shoe. So
yeah, like look, I don't like the sole on these LeBrons, and I don't know. Like it's one of those things, you know, when you look at something, you can't put your finger on what you don't like about it.
Yeah.
Imagine it on your foot, you're like, no, I just can't do it. And like, sure, like there's a lot of shoes that I think that about. Then a colorway drops, and I'm like, man. They're really sweet. Like I could picture myself rocking them. Like there's a chance that might happen, but I don't know. Maybe the big boy is going to come out with something, and I'll throw some money at that.
Hope not.
Hey, I got a long sleeve. I got a long sleeve tee. I jumped on, but I'm not spending.
I'm here for Big Baller Brand, but like I'm not gonna drop $500 on the
sneaks.
Yeah, like nah.
I mean, you can spend $500 and get like one of those Christmas double packs of some J's or something.
Right. Yeah. Something that's worth my time. Like I'll buy a shirt or something at some point.
Yeah, that's what I did. Like I mean, I think I spent like $45 on a long sleeve tee.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can do that in good conscience. But but I really like the floral colorway of the LeBron 15. Like I don't know, like I feel like I'll have to go out of my way to make like multiple outfits with that. But like it's just like a luxe shoe though. Like I can definitely see myself wearing that one. And that's like this shoe kind of just feels like a designer shoe.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I guess the fact that I'm not a huge floral design person, like that's probably has to do with it a little bit, like, you know, and it's not just in the LeBrons, like most shoes that I see in a floral, it's like, I don't know, maybe a bit too much going on for me.
You gotta do it right. Like you can't have like.
I mean, I think I dress well sometimes. I don't know if I have that much like going on for me. I'd have to.
I mean, you can. I feel like you can. You don't have to match every color in the flowers, right? Like I don't try to match every color, right? And 9 times out of 10, like there are only like 2 colors on the shoe when I buy them.
Yeah.
Because like I have I think 2 shoes with floral patterns on them, and like one is like navy blue and a salmon color, and the other one is like it's like green and what's the other?
Well, I mean, navy blue's pretty easy to
it's easy
to match up. So I mean, they're pretty sweet colors. Like it's not really the color. I don't know. I guess it's more just like the look. I'm not like a flower on shoe guy. I don't know. Like I'm a flower on t-shirt guy. I guess like if we want to rock a white shirt, it's like let's go.
Let's do it.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully LeBron does something. They are having a pop-up shop in Cleveland today for the LeBron 15. So we'll see if anything comes from that. How are you feeling about the Dame 4? It just dropped.
Yeah, I like them. I like them. I really like them. Like I've said this, I'm a massive Boost snob. So I mean, the Dame has come out on record and says that he prefers to be playing in the bounce sole, which is completely fine. At the end of the day, it's his shoe. Like whatever's more comfortable for him, let's do it. But you know, I would love if they had the Boost on them. But I think they're pretty sweet look, and I reckon they'll come out. Like Lillard always tends to come out with some really fire colorways. So I'm expecting that to continue, and I reckon like at that price point, I can definitely see myself jumping into something there and seeing how we go. I mean, like if they did like another black and yellow, I reckon that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of black and yellow.
Did you send me that one that was like black and yellow and like
the black with the
teal or something like that on the bottom on the sole? Like there was
I can't remember. Possibly I remember sending you a couple photos, but I can't remember if it was the teal one. I remember I sent like the black and red that he was wearing on media day.
Yeah,
that was a really nice colorway. Yeah, and I guess like Portland just do have a really nice they have a nice kind of color scope on their uniform, so you can
Yeah,
always
definitely.
get away with doing something.
One of the best in the league, I think.
Yeah, agree.
The colors make sense for any shoe. But
and his personality as well. His personality like lets you kind of move out of the box with some things, try something new. Because you just know that he's not going to play it safe. You know, that's not his game either. He's got that swag, he's got that ego, and I think like the colorways in some of his shoes definitely mimic that.
Yeah, like the collar on this shoe is like totally different from what he's had.
Completely different. Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I'm kind of sad that the lace lock is going from the Dame 3.
Yeah.
Because I really like that, but
the holets are all a little bit different on this new shoe. Like it looks like the whole lacing arrangement is all kind of completely new. But yeah, like I like them. I think it's gonna look really good. And once I'm really concentrating on players wearing them in games, and that's when I tend to fall in love with them a little bit more. So I'm excited. I haven't really watched much like Blazers preseason basketball yet, so I haven't really seen him rock them in game. I've seen a couple photos, but once the season starts and I see him like rock some of these nice colorways in games, then it's going to be harder to keep the wallet shut. That's for sure.
Most definitely. I've seen a few NBA players, just not even on Portland, but just like around the league. Generally in the few games that I've watched this preseason, because like I hate preseason. Yeah, but a lot of people are actually wearing the Lillard 4, so that's a really good look for Dame and Adidas. Yeah,
well, Adidas definitely like that roster is growing, and like like their decision to drop the jerseys was their decision. So like that wasn't an outbid.
Right. Exactly.
Like I think it's kind of like reasonably well known, but like we knew as kind of employees for a long time that they weren't picking up the jersey deal. And the main reason for that is because they thought that like the money that they were generating from like apparel and stuff like that, I mean, it was good, but they didn't think that they would lose that money by then reinvesting it into athletes. And I guess like with the Giannis deal coming up, like if they're able to translate like the money they saved on that jersey deal into a massive deal for Giannis, I mean, that could be a home run.
Right. Yeah, that would be incredible. No, but it definitely it is. Adidas does have it on record that the NBA did try to renegotiate and renew the contract with them, and they were just like, no, they had other priorities. And like, I mean, looking back, like when the decision was made to move on, I thought it was kind of ridiculous. I'm like, why would you do this? And this is a growing league, but you know, it was definitely the right decision.
I think like with Adidas have missed out just on so many like big names. It's like, all right, we need to stop playing and start, you know, forking out that bit of extra money that kind of gets us over the line. So like, you know, there's obviously the history with like MJ and LeBron and stuff, like they just didn't come to the party. Yeah. So, you know, I think, and that's why like going into a lot of recent drafts, they've signed a lot of like the top 10 picks, like just to early like deals. Just to kind of be that first brand in, I guess, and like have their name in if someone explodes. And I guess like that helped with like Porzingis. They had him early. They got Embiid early, so you know, I mean, no one's really buying big man shoes, but
those are,
you know, it's still good to have them on their feet.
Yeah, because I mean, look at even though they're big men, like look at the social media presence that Embiid has right now. Like it's incredible.
If he stays on the court, like you could pitch some incredible marketing campaigns around him. Like, you know, the problem is though, like I think they're probably a little bit scared with like everything that happened with Derrick Rose. You know, like they went from putting huge amounts of money into this guy, and his shoes weren't selling because he wasn't on the court to wear them.
Right. Exactly.
And like I think there's probably a little bit of reservation to give him a signature just yet, because it's like, yeah, we know that you can probably lead your own signature shoe, but you know, if you're only on the court for 25 games and you're only playing 15 minutes on those 25 games, you know, no one outside of Philly is probably going to be, you know, streaming the streets to buy the shoes. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they play that.
Yeah, but I mean, even outside of him, though, if you look at their roster, with Dame is obviously there. You have Harden, like you said, Kristaps, just huge names across the league. And if they land this Giannis deal, like I think you know, that's a real game changer for them. Because like even though like basketball sneakers aren't like that's not great business right now, right? Like nobody's buying performance anymore. But like when the trend does switch back around and you have maybe two of the top 5 players, if Embiid pans out on your roster, like that's a great thing. And if Harden continues to be great, you know.
Then, like at the end of the day for Adidas as well, like or Adidas, like they know that they need to break more into the US market.
Shout out to you for pronouncing that right. Can you explain to people?
All right, so for all of our loyal listeners who are going to unsubscribe because I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. Like, please stay subscribed to this amazing pod. It is actually pronounced Adidas, and I'll give you a quick like history lesson. The guy who created the company, his nickname was Addy Dazzler. So when you shorten that, it's Adidas, and that's how it's always been. But I guess like we know our American friends are pretty stubborn and stuck in your ways, and you guys rock Adidas.
Most definitely. I was going to say.
You guys rocked Adidas, so here it is. Like anywhere else you go in the company, I'll never forget the first time I come into the States to travel. I was wearing an Adidas T-shirt, and customs were, asked me all their typical like, "Why are you traveling?" questions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "So what do you do? Like, how can you afford this trip?" I was like, "Oh, I'm a student and I work at Adidas." And the security guard doesn't even look up from my passport. He's like, "You're gonna have to be more specific. I don't know all your workplaces in Australia." I was like Adidas, and he didn't blink an eye. I'm like Adidas. And he's like, "Oh, Adidas, yeah." Like, why didn't you just say that in the first place?
That's funny.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm wearing a T-shirt right now." Just
you were wearing the T-shirt, and he's just like, "Oh my god, that's funny."
Yeah, I'm like, it's not that big of a like difference in the spelling of the word or how I'm pronouncing it that you couldn't like figure out what I was saying. But yeah, it is Adidas, but you guys can keep saying Adidas all you want, man. I'm not gonna stress.
Shout out to America for ruining shit. Like we're out here, man. We're out here.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. No, but what were you saying though? I didn't mean to cut you off. I
don't think it was that important. I don't remember where we even were.
Have you seen the new Yeezy that Kanye's wearing?
Yeah. I don't love them.
Okay. I guess to make sure that I wasn't the only.
All I'm gonna say. Yeah. I mean, no. I try to convince myself because I love him, but no, like there's no way I'd be wearing them, and like at the price point that you're gonna have to pay.
Yeah.
I tried really hard to get some 350s, and it just like never worked. And then it was like, then they got like when the version 2s came out, I was just like, I wasn't feeling them. And yeah, I missed that hype. I don't know, man. I just didn't like the whole like supply too on it. That wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think like that was so hyped in Australia, like especially working in a store. Like when you have someone come in, like multiple people come in like every day, mispronouncing it, not knowing how much they should be paying, like just thinking they're going to walk in and buy like their 8-year-old son a pair of Yeezys off the shelf.
A pair of Yeezys.
Like you just get sick of them. And like the romance for it like left me real quick. So I mean, I would still one day like to get them, but I'm not forking out like the resale value that you're paying for them. I've got a pair of boots, like Yeezy, like
the 750s.
No, like the proper
boots.
Like the proper boots, yeah.
Okay.
That he just like on his on the website that they released. And they're pretty fire. I like them. I mean, I spent like 300 on them. Like it's not like they were cheap, but if I'm trying to go like super casual and I want like a little bit more of a high end look, that's always a nice go.
That's where it is. Yeah, I don't particularly like these. I have not liked a Yeezy since the original 350s drop. Like honestly,
yeah.
Like, I'm with you. Like the V2s they're kind of trash. Like they're super hype, right? They look pretty similar to the originals, but like I don't know. There's some like I would get the Pirate Blacks maybe.
Yeah, same. Like,
but like that would be it though. But like I mean, with this one, like it looks like a like there's like a designer element to this one that like it
looks like something you could see Balenciaga doing.
Yeah, like and I hate that. Like I'm not here for luxury designer shoe collabs, right? Like that's not like I'm not a Balenciaga guy. Like I'm not a Louis Vuitton guy. Like
But he is. I guess that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like he wants that. Like he has always kind of said that he wants that, you know, that feel to a lot of his product and that high end kind of like quality, that Italian quality, as he will say. So I guess like I can see like where he's come out to do it, but I mean, if you're trying to appeal to the masses still, that's not going to get it done. Like people are probably going to buy it for the name, but
people still can't afford this shit though. Like that's the thing. Right. Like we still don't have the affordable Yeezy, right? Like and part of that is
Power Fraser came out, but like that was like so trash. Like no one was.
It looked like a damn Reebok. Like, and it's just like, bro, like I can go get a Reebok Classic and it'll be the same thing. Like I didn't need this. And like I don't think like the Yeezys are super, like they're not super expensive to the point where like I can't afford them, but like they're super limited. So once they hit resale, like it's over. Like you're not getting them.
It's done.
You're not getting them. So I don't know. Like the whole Yeezy thing has just been like super frustrating for me.
It's just been like hours on hours. Like I remember like early days when they first when the first ones were dropping, I was, you know, waiting up every night, like on every website trying to get it done, try to cop a pair, and it just like never happened. I mean, they did like staff raffles and stuff for us, but I mean everyone in the company was like, you know, trying to get a pair, so I never won one. So yeah, like now it's to the point where I've just kind of given up. But I mean, it was huge for the company itself. Like they
definitely
launched it into prominence in the States, and like has been a godsend to the company. And like Nike are probably kicking themselves every day that they let him go, because like his Nike models were like probably nicer than anything he's done with Adidas. So
they're legendary still. Like it's crazy. I honestly can't believe that they. Well, I mean, I guess looking back at it now, like. I can see why they did it, but like it's stupid. Like it's a mistake. So like I mean Kanye is huge, right? But like, do you guys look at any other collabs that you have? Like I mean, obviously you have Pharrell.
I was gonna say Pharrell was pretty big collab back in Australia. Nigo is pretty big as well.
Really?
Yeah. Like especially apparel wise. Like he has released some really nice stuff with Adidas. Like apparel wise, I've got a bit of his stuff. It's pretty sweet. But they're probably like the main collabs that we'll see on an everyday basis. Them are the main. They're the main three.
So Pharrell, well, Adidas overall, I think has just kind of changed the game with the celebrity collab, right? Like they have really made this into a thing. Like because I mean obviously like. Go ahead.
You go.
No, I was saying like you're not.
Nah, it's on you. You're good. You're going.
All right. Okay. No, I was gonna keep it short. I was gonna say you're not gonna find another Kanye West anywhere, but go ahead. Go ahead with your point that I rudely cut you off on.
I think no, you didn't, man. Don't be silly. I think like Adidas had that early success with Run DMC years ago, and I think when they really realized that they needed to break into this US market, the best way to probably do it was to be through entertainers, because they weren't going to get the huge sporting names to break in through that way. Like, because obviously, like in the NFL, like they have big names. Like they've got Aaron Rodgers, they've got Von Miller, like they've got these massive names, but the NFL doesn't let you market anyone, and like they don't let you like have these cleats. Like they let Von Miller like in his pre-game warm-up wear some 750 cleats, like, but that's it, you know. That's and like right. you're not gonna break into any US market advertising an NFL player, because like that's not what the league stands for. I mean, the league doesn't even let you like show their highlights unless they're posting it. So, that wasn't the way it was going to go. Like the big names in the NBA were all pretty much sorted. Like if you're looking back 5 years ago, Kobe, LeBron, KD, they were already locked down to Nike. So you weren't going to get in through the NBA. So how are you going to break in? Let's hit some big entertainers. Like it's worked for them in the past. So yeah, they went out, they got Pharrell, they got Kanye, and that's really helped. And I think when you've spoken about how Now, within the States, your sneaker industry is more like casual sport based. You can market those entertainers around those products because they can wear it on an everyday basis doing what they want to do.
Right.
And it can be like, hey, this is just their everyday shoe. I mean, like you can put Kanye in a pair of Hardens, but no one's going to be like, yeah, Kanye really wants to be rocking Hardens on his everyday. But if you put him in a pair of like NMDs or Ultra Boost, you're like, yeah, Kanye wants a pair of shoes that he wants to wear today. It's going to be the Ultra Boost. And it helped with like, I can't explain enough how big the Boost technology has been to the revival of Adidas. Like I was there before Boost, and like, I mean, we sold runners and it was fine. Like we were getting people coming in, but once Boost came in, like that was a game changer, like absolute game changer. And they've put them into, I mean, they've made the most of it. They've put them into casual shoes. They've put them into basketball shoes. They've put them into
everything.
Pretty much everything, yeah. So like they've been able to tailor to every market, and like, man, that was the easiest shoe for me to sell. I go up to someone and I say, hey, what are you looking for? And I want a running shoe. I'll like put this on your feet and you're going to walk out in it. And it's just how it is. So, I mean, that was a big deal with it. But the entertainment side of what they've done was, I think, a really smart advertising move for them. And I mean, they didn't want to play it safe either. A lot of their marketing has been on, you know, being different and being out there. And I think that's definitely helped their cause.
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. Do you think that this is kind of going to be the trend for not only Adidas but like just apparel companies in general? Like our company is going to try to find the next the biggest wave in terms of like entertainment and celebrity rather than like the superstar athlete?
Yeah, like I think like there's always going to be the demand for like that big superstar athlete there. That's always going to be there. Like Jordan, once that happened, like he changed the game with that, and you always need that big athlete. But I mean, if you can partner it with a big entertainer, that's half the battle. And like, Adidas were really smart in a sense that, like, in my opinion anyway, they knew that like the industry of people who are buying sneakers are the same industry of people that are into the hip hop game mostly. So like they went and they got Pusha T and they did stuff with him, and they got like all these other smaller names. I mean, they're not small. Like Pusha T is not a small name, but like the lower class of like entertainers from a Yeezy, and gave them all like little like shoe deals like ASAP Ferg and stuff like this. And now everyone's like, oh sweet, like, you know, this is my favorite rapper. He's going to put out this dope like collab. Let's check it out. And now like it had built that into like, you know, that I guess that want for the brand, and now you can build on it. And I think like Nike will probably look to counter that eventually. I mean, they're not just going to let Adidas rule that market. So they're going to look to get into someone. It just depends who they can get, you know, like, because you need a level of charisma and a level of marketability to match what Kanye has. And I don't think there's anyone like that on the market that you can.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't think of anyone right now. Like there's not a single name, unless like you could somehow get like, unless you could like get Beyonce to wear like it's like,
yeah. And I mean, she's probably into like enough money that she's like not.
Yeah,
like,
she's not.
I mean, shoes are probably on like the lowest of her like level of, you know, things that she really wants to get done, I guess. Like, I mean, Puma was smart as well. Like when they got Rihanna in, like that was a pretty big deal for them. Right. And that was a really good get, like especially like just for their like female side of things. That was huge for them. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Nike does. Like I've always been of the opinion that like Nike's casual range was probably like the weakest of all kind of like high end, you know, performance brands. Like I'd rather be wearing Adidas or like Reebok and stuff like that than I would like just a casual Nike. I think they do performance clothing pretty well, but you know, their streetwear stuff was I thought never to the range that Adidas had even before Kanye.
It's always been pretty bad. Like, and like part of that is because of the whole Jordan effect, right? Where you had like you had this lock on the athletic culture, part of things. So like you don't even need to take a look at that.
That's true.
Like, people want to wear J's, but like we said earlier, we have this shift now that you know, they didn't really account for, and like they're seeing the struggle with it now. So
I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, like, I guess what their next play is. But Yeah, I mean, like
Amazon selling on Amazon apparently.
Yeah, I did say that. I didn't get to read into that Amazon thing, but yeah.
Yeah,
something.
It's not. I don't think it'll change things with them. It's just like that to me is a band-aid to stop the bleeding that they've already had. Like, so what their plan is, they want to sell they're going to distribute like their lower tier merchandise, like the Spiridons and the maybe some Prestos and stuff like that to Amazon, so they can sell it directly from their site instead of having the resellers go to Amazon and do the same for a super cheap price. So
it's just I guess like cuts out the middleman, I guess. So it will help
exactly.
them. But yeah, well, I mean, like at the end of the day, they've still got like the biggest names in basketball pretty much locked down, so they're going to have that market. But yeah, I guess they're going to have to find something. And I guess like their Air Force anniversary would be pretty cool for them and see what they do there.
It's going to be fun. That's definitely going to be fun. But I don't really have anything else left on the rundown. I wanted to give you a second though, if you want to take this time to eulogize Carmelo's to eulogize his signature shoe lock, because I know you felt the way.
Man, so I was like real hurt. No, I wasn't. Like, so being a Nuggets fan, like Melo was one of my first basketball loves. So I kind of got into the sport in like 2006. So I was like 11 years old. And like I jumped on the Nuggets with AI and Melo. So like they were kind of my first loves. And when I was getting into shoes and when I was really starting to see the value, like the first sneaker shoe, there was a SIG that I really wanted was a Melo Forward. So I always had a soft spot in my heart for them. So I do love it. When you said that you hated them, like that had me feeling some type of way.
I hated them.
But, man, I haven't seen a Melo signature shoe for the last like 5-6 years that I was like, maybe even longer, that I was like, yeah, I want to cop that shoe. I mean, some of it was probably saltiness that he left us. But yeah, I think it was probably it was coming, and it's coming for CP3, as you touched on in your last pod. They're both probably going to lose that deal. I mean, CP3 is the same. Like, man, I don't even remember the last time I seen anyone falling in CP3 shoes.
I bought some CP3 shoes in like 2009.
Yeah, I think like one of my good mates has a pair of CP3s, and it was probably from like maybe like 12 or 13 maybe when he copped them, and they were fine. But I mean, it's just like, as you said, it's tough to market yourself under the Jordan name. And they're not going to be able to do it with Kawhi Leonard. Like, no one's going to buy a Kawhi Leonard shoe. I doubt Kawhi Leonard's. I doubt he's going to even want to make his own shoe. Like, they could probably throw a boatload of money at him, and he'll be like, unless you can shape a commercial around me, like not smiling and not saying anything, like, then we're not doing it. But yeah, no one's going to buy that. And like that San Antonio market itself is not really like, built towards a signature shoe model. But Westbrook, if they decide to give him his own line, would be probably, I think they'll be good for the company. A lot of people would buy Westbrook's, I think.
He's supposed to get two, apparently. Like, there's supposed to be one on the court and one off the court. So
like I haven't liked any of his off the court stuff. I'm not sure about yourself.
Terrible. Yeah. They've been terrible so far.
Like, I'm not really rocking like a casual like high top that's not a sneaker. Like, unless it's a ball, like a J or like any kind of ball shoe that's a high top. Like, man, I haven't been wearing just a casual high top since like 5-6 years ago. So that probably has a way to it.
I can wear a casual high top, but like I just particularly wouldn't wear it. It's like, I might wear the first one, but definitely not the second one though. And like the only way I would wear the first one is like I was saying on the other pod, is to like an event, like maybe like something that's like business casual or something like that.
But then I think like you can do better. Like you have other ones. Like, you could wear it if you wanted to, but I'm sure if you look through your closet, or if you looked online to buy something to wear to that event, you could find ones that are better suited, that you would like better than those Westbrooks. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was like if push came to shove, you would wear them, but it's like they would never be your first choice.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think like his persona and his marketability, he can give you something that would be your first choice.
For sure. I'm so surprised that they hadn't been able to break through with that yet with Westbrook. Like hopefully, I feel like the on-court shoe is going to be the one to do that.
Yeah, that's what and that's what I'm referring to. Like they need to give him an on-court shoe, and I think the perfect time would have been straight off the bat from the MVP. Like have something in the works. I mean, they obviously knew for quite a while that he was going to be, right up there in that MVP race, if not winning it. So like the iron was perfectly hot there. To come out with something. But I mean, we'll see. They've got plenty of time. But yeah. Also, just quickly, this is my kind of last thing that I just wanted to touch on. All the Dellavedova haters in your mentions about him having his own signature shoe. All right, watch yourselves. So, like, Peak has a huge branch in Australia. Peak Australia is massive. Well, I mean, it's not massive. Like, no one's wearing it, but they have, like, massive headquarters there. So, like, the Delhi thing was an Australian thing. Like, he was, like, our icon after that final series when he was balling with LeBron. Like, that was a big deal to Aussies. And, like, Delhi kind of, like, that whole stereotype of the scrappy, like...
The scrappy tenacity.
Aussie, like, that's him. So, like, Peak knew that. Like, they're selling those Delhies to, like, 10-year-old kids, like, that are shooting around in their local rec leagues. I mean, they're terrible. No one's ever going to wear them. But it's a bit of fun. Like, you know.
It's definitely fun. It's definitely fun.
Everyone's like, oh, hey, you got Delhi's signature shoes. It's like, yo, like, hate on Tony Parker's, all right? That guy's got a terrible rap album. And he hasn't been relevant for 10 years. Like, hate on Tony Parker. Don't hate on our Delhi.
The thing is, at least Tony Parker has a Finals MVP, right?
Correct. I mean, Tony Parker is still a superstar, and Delhi is not. But you know, Australia is devoid of signature Australian basketball athletes. That is all going to change in the next Olympics, mind you. We're coming for you.
Shout out to Ben Simmons.
Shout out to Ben Simmons. Shout out to Thon Maker. Shout out.
Do you guys claim Kyrie Irving? Like, is that a thing? Okay.
Yes, we do. He's coming. Nah, like Kyrie, like yes and no. Like he was born in Melbourne. Shouts to my hometown. But I mean, he left when he was super young. You know, there was a bit of rumors going around that he was going to choose to play for Australia in the Olympics. And then when he didn't, they were like, all of Australia was super salty. Like, we hope you never make the USA Olympic team. Like, you're always going to be stuck behind like Chris Paul. You know, it's not going to matter, blah, blah, blah. But no, like he said that maybe he'll come down and play in like the Australian Professional League at the end of his like career. That would be super dope. So I mean, we've got a soft spot. Like we don't have like a whole lot of signature NBA talent, so we'll claim anything. But no, we'll have a nice team at the next Olympics, man. Don't you worry.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be nice. I mean, you are already pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a couple like nice young and up and coming kids. So I mean, Ben Simmons stays healthy, man. That guy's gonna win the Rookie of the Year this year. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Shouts to baby LeBron.
Ben Simmons is going to be the dude that like triggers another redeem team for Team USA.
Yeah,
once they inevitably suck.
That's what we're hoping for.
Once they inevitably suck after LeBron retires or something. But yeah, man, thank you so much for hopping on here with me, yo. I truly appreciate it. You taught me a bunch of shit today about global sneaker culture and Australia sneaker culture that I would not have known otherwise. So you are a treasure.
It was a lot of fun coming on to talk to you. And man, like always hit me up, and I'm always going to hit you up and annoy you with pointless questions. But that's all the fun, man.
I need that.
You keep doing great work. You keep doing great stuff, man. We're all here for it.
Thank you. Thank you, man. I truly appreciate it. For the rest of y'all need to do the same and hit me up with your questions, because I know you have them. Like people slide into the DMs and they're like, "Yo, would you wear this? Like, do you like these? What do you wear to this event?" I'm just like,
don't feel the pressure that because it's a mailbag you can't ask it. Ask anything.
Yeah.
Ask anything. You'll be happy to answer. Anyone will be happy to answer questions, man. That's all fun. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we're doing this. Like, we're not talking about sneakers, or you're not writing about sneakers because you don't like doing it, man. We want to talk about all this kind of stuff as much as we can. So
exactly.
If anyone's got questions, hit up my boy, and you'll help you out for sure.
Exactly. Spreading the culture. Spreading culture. Thank you for that plug, man. Thank you for that plug.
That's right.
Follow my man on Twitter @adrizzle. Follow me on Twitter at Mike Sykes. Make sure you guys subscribe to this this Problem Podcast newsletter that I'm tweeting out religiously every day. And once again, we're going to close here. I'm going to give you guys some really good advice. Don't buy fakes.
Don't buy fakes, man.